guest, welcome to today's Big Brother Canada updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Dominic Capello. Thank you so much for supporting us on Patreon. It means the world to us, and you're awesome. So if you guys want to be house guest of the day, be like Dominic and check out our Patreon link in the info box below. We would appreciate it so much. All right, and we got lots of openings. So back in the house, right? You're all... So back in the house. We've got Mitch and Joel up on the block. The eviction is rapidly approaching, and Mitch's campaign train is freaking going 1,000 miles per hour. So he's doing like everything he can to stay right now. Meanwhile, Joel is just like, I think I'm staying. I don't need to campaign. I mean, he's got a point though. Why exert all that energy and cause all that when you don't have to? But Mitch knows he's got a lot of work to do. So he was campaigning to Cass, and it's pretty much the same stuff. But then he finally decides to bring out that info that he got from Maddie. Wait, before that, I jumped the gun. He brings up the jury vote because everybody's like, you know, whoever goes this week is probably going to be the first person on the jury. So he's like, if you vote for me to stay this week and you make it to the end, you'll have my vote. If you don't, probably not. So then he pulls out the Maddie information. He also brings Maddie into this conversation, by the way. I'm just like all over the place. It's eviction day. So they tell Cassandra together that Jared and Kelsey tried to make a Final Four deal with her and Ramsey. And they said that they were going to go after Cassandra. What? Because obviously they can't go after themselves, and they're not going to go after Maddie and Ramsey if they're making this deal with them. So Cass is just like, oh, what? She kind of takes it like with a grain of salt. And then she's saying how that all sounds great and everything, but she doesn't want to go against Joel. She doesn't want to betray him. So Maddie and Cass are talking a little bit about, you know, how these rumors go around that they're coming after each other. And they promise, like, that they're not targeting each other. I feel like we've heard this so many times before, and then they turn around 2 seconds later and are like, I gotta get rid of this bitch. So, yeah, Mitch is trying to mend those fences because he feels like if those two are going after each other, there's no way he's gonna stay in this house. So eventually Nick comes in and breaks up that chat, but there's going to be some more interesting stuff going on there. So then Cass and Tim were both talking to Joel, and they confirm with him that they're keeping him this week. He can just relax. So Tim wants to make it very clear, though, that just because he's voting with the trio this week, it does not mean that he's with them. He does not want to see them make it to the end together, but he feels like he's on their side this week in this situation. So Joel's like, I don't really care. I just feel better now because you confirmed that you're keeping me. Yay. So then Mitch was campaigning to Phil, and he, just like Cass, told Phil about the Final Four deal, supposed Final Four deal between the two showmances, Jared and Kelsey and Maddie and Ramsey. And he's like, yep, Jared and Kelsey said that they were going to nominate you and Cassandra if they won HOH. What? So, conveniently, Kelsey and Nick walk into the high roller room where they're chatting, and Phil's like, I'm just going to ask you right now, Kelsey, what's this deal that I'm hearing about with Maddie and Ramsey? So then she's like, yeah, we made a deal that we weren't going to put them up this week, that they weren't our target, but it was not a Final Four deal. So then Mitch was like, oh yeah, well, if you made that deal, then who's your next target? And she didn't want to say, like, Maddie and Ramsey out loud, but she was kind of implying it. And then eventually she did end up saying their names. And Mitch is freaking calling them in the room. He's like, hey, Maddie, Ramsey, can you come in here? Oh, shit! So Kelsey is kind of getting backed into a corner right here. She's like, I don't want to do this right now, like I've got 2 massive zits on my face and I'm sweating and I don't want to have this conversation on camera and blah blah blah. Mitch is like, we're living in the Big Brother house right now, there's cameras everywhere, you can't like have this conversation off camera. But she's just saying anything to try and get out of this. So then Mitch and Maddie keep asking Kelsey, like, if you won HOH, who are you putting up? Like, who's your next target? What's going on? And Kelsey's like, I don't have to say. Who's your target? Who's your target? So she's getting really upset that she's getting called out like this. And then Phil starts defending Kelsey, and it's really annoying. And Kelsey's just like, we never had a Final Four deal, like that, you're misinterpreting it, blah, blah, blah. She's also denying that she was going to go after Cass and the brothers. So Mitch is like, well, that's not what I heard. And Kelsey is like, yeah, the boys, meaning Raul and Jared, had some issues with them last week when they were trying to keep Dallas, but they've already cleared all that up. Like, it's all good. So that confrontation breaks up. Phil and Kelsey go up to the HOH room where Jared and Raul are waiting. Cassandra eventually joins them too, and Phil starts describing what happened, and he's like kissing the trio's butts, and it's disgusting. So then they're like all hugging, and they're all good with each other, and they're like, Mitch is just trying to stir up drama, blah, we never had a Final Four, blah. So yeah, back to the campaigning. Because Mitch is not done yet. Mitch and Maddie are both trying to work Cass. It doesn't seem to be working so much, but she's not really giving them a straight answer, so that's why they keep kind of pressing. But Cass does say if she won the next HOH, she would go after the trio. Is that true, though? Because I keep hearing Cassandra saying that she wants Ramsey out next, and that is so sad that she's still planning on keeping this trio in the house. So, in other campaign news, it seems like Mitch has finally given up on getting the brothers' votes because they are so friggin' far up that trio's butt. It's not even funny. They're not budging this week, so he's over that. He's trying to get Cassandra's vote and possibly Tim. So, then, this is where things get a little crazy. A little crazier than that Kelsey confrontation. Mitch and Raul finally chat one-on-one. I think this is the first time they're talking since that crazy power veto speech from Mitch. So they're up in the HOH room, and of course, first of all, Mitch apologizes for the power veto speech. He's like, I didn't mean it personally. I had to do that for strategic reasons. Like, I love you. You're my best friend in this house, blah, blah, blah. So they're kind of making up. Raul's like, oh, I've been so sad the last few days not talking to you. And Mitch is like, yeah, me too. So they're making up, and then Raul wants Mitch to come clean about some things, like game-wise. So Mitch is like, fine, I know I'm going home tomorrow. Let's do this. So he confirms that, yes, he did want Kelsey out to get closer to Raul, and Raul's like, ooh. And Mitch is like, I always had your back. Like, I've never really lied to you about that kind of stuff. We're good. So Raul is like very emotional during this. He's crying. He's like, this is just what I wanted before. I wanted you to be honest with me, blah, blah, blah. So then Mitch is like, okay, now I have some non-game related stuff that I want to tell you, like about his life outside the house. But he's not sure if he wants to do this right now because he doesn't know if Raul can keep it a secret, and he wants to really control like who knows what about his personal life. So of course he's talking about YouTube. So Raul pinky promises that he's not going to share with anyone what Mitch is about to tell him. And then it turned into a real Frankie Grande moment. Do you guys remember the famous or infamous, I am a social media mogul? That's this, except Mitch was not obnoxious about it. So he tells Raul about his YouTube channel, ASAP Science. He's like, yeah, I got like 5 million subscribers, blah, 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 blah. And Raul's just like, what? Oh my god. But then he gets really excited when Mitch starts talking about the other YouTubers that he knows, like Gigi Gorgeous, and Raul's just like, ah! So he's like freaking out about that. And like they're having a good time talking about his life outside of the house and everything. And then it starts to kind of take a turn, and Raul's getting really quiet and like emotional again, because we know that he came into this game not for Big Brother. He came onto the show wanting to get famous. So now he's finding out that Mitch has all these connections and stuff, and he's thinking like, whoa, I don't want to F this up. So Raul's thinking like, maybe I should keep him. Like, what if it's a tie situation? I could use this to my advantage. So then Raul's like, well, I don't want you or people on the outside to think that I'm using you for your fame if I keep you. So Mitch is like, well, I know that we're real friends, blah, blah, blah. They're kind of like walking this thin line. You know, it's weird because we don't know if Mitch is like trying to use this or what, and if Raul's gonna want to use that. So, yeah. Eventually that conversation ends. Kelsey and Jared were worried this whole time. I mean, they were talking for like an hour and a half. And Kelsey and Jared were really worried that Mitch is getting into Raul's head. They don't know what's going on with this whole YouTube thing. They didn't hear about that. But Jared kept going in there, like bringing up food and stuff. And every time he went in there, Raul was like crying and all emotional. So Kelsey goes and talks to Raul after. He's even more emotional. He was like crying his eyes out. He did not share the YouTube information with Kelsey and Jared. And Kelsey and Jared would not leave him alone. They're like, oh, it's okay, baby. We love you. They don't even know the internal struggle. They don't. So this morning, Tim and Mitch were having a little chat in the high roller room. And he wasn't campaigning at this point. He was talking about the game in general and life after the Big Brother house. So Mitch tells Tim, like, last night, I noticed a change in myself. I saw a monster in myself, and I rejected it. But it was weird. So it sounds like he's referring to the YouTube conversation with Raul, and it sounds like he considered using his fame to persuade Raul, and he kind of like started going down that road, and then decided, like, no, I'm not going to do this. It's dirty. I can't do it. So he doesn't tell Tim what's up. But Tim kind of like talks him through it. He's like, no, that's normal. He's talking about his own experiences on Big Brother Australia and after he left the house. So then Mitch is kind of worried what the perception of him is going to be like with the public. And Tim assures Mitch, like, you're going to be remembered as a strategist, not as some like evil manipulator. It's all good. So then, Tim and Cassandra were chatting, and first of all, he was talking about his conversation with Mitch, and I think he kind of figured out that, like, Mitch was not being totally honest with everyone about his career, because he was like, wow, there must be something special about Mitch, because, like, why would they bring this, like, science person in here? I don't know, but he pretty much figured it out. But in other Tim news, it sounds like he's finally decided that he's like going to play this game to win. So he tells Cassandra this week he's making a strategic, non-chaotic decision to vote out Mitch this week, because if he did keep Mitch, that's like how Big Brother Australia Tim would play, you know, making everything chaotic and crazy. But Big Brother Canada Tim is playing smart this week and getting rid of Mitch. Also, it sounds like Tim wants to be part of the glory. He wants part of the glory of taking out the trio. He doesn't want Mitch to have that. So it sounds like he's really turning things around here. I mean, I think all along he was like playing to win, but now it's like official. He better keep that under wraps though. But tonight is the eviction, and Mitch is definitely going home, unless something insane happens. And then we'll have a new HOH, so it's going to be interesting. Hopefully something interesting will happen. Let me know in the comments who you guys are hoping will be the next HOH. And until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.